Right, welcome to video 3. So in this video we're going to show you how to make the bottom panel of your nightlight, and that's pretty much going to be it. Well, maybe we'll do the bottom panel and the two side panels. We're going to do some time saving now though. We're going to do it without having to draw too many new sketches. We're actually going to reuse this top panel on the bottom and just tweak it slightly, and then we're going to create the side pieces in place basically by filling up the gaps. So one thing I noticed at the end of the last video is the way I told you to join these guys down onto here, I've actually inadvertently made the whole model upside down. If you look at it and you've done it the same as mine, when you're looking at it from above, your cube will say bottom on it. It's a good time to show you how to change that now. So what you can do is click on bottom, so you're actually looking at what it thinks is the bottom, but right click on your view cube and choose set current view as top. Alright, and that should put everything back in the correct orientation. So it's just a little tip there if you ever do that. Okay, what we're going to do then, we're going to create a copy of the top. So the way I do that is select the top, right click copy, and then somewhere over here right click paste. So we've got a copy of it. Now, what you might remember from the other videos, if I was to change this and try and make it look like our bottom panel, which has got this cutout in here, at the moment, anything I do to this will also happen to that one because they're linked. So we need to unlink them. Now, the way we do that is we pick the one we want to become independent, and you go to the Assemble tab, and along here, click this little arrow, and you're going to click this one, Save and Replace. So we're going to basically save this, but call it bottom panel. Okay. Now, I know that doesn't appear to have done anything, but what it's actually done is make this a completely separate part to that one. And now if I make changes to this one, it won't affect this guy. Okay, so what we're going to do, we want to edit this bottom panel, and you can check over here, look, it's been called bottom panel. So we're going to double click on it. Anytime you want to edit something you've already made, you double click on that part in question. And you can tell you're working on it because everything else goes transparent and the thing you're working on stays solid coloured. Right, what we're going to do, we don't need this slot in the middle anymore. Now, over in your little browser on the left, you see we've got all the different extrusions we made. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extrusion 4 we don't want, so we're going to right click on it and click delete. It's saying, do you also want to get rid of the sketches you drew? That's what it means by consumed sketches. Well, yes we do, we don't need them, so we click OK. That's got rid of that. Instead, what we're going to do is make a new sketch and attempt to draw this cutout. Now, if you have a look at this, cutout follows the exact shape of the outline, but going by this number here, it is 6mm away from the outline, and that's what we're going to set up. Really easy to do. Make a new sketch, because we're making a feature, so sketch on the surface here, and you are going to use a new tool now called Project Geometry. Project Geometry, if you just move so the whole thing's highlighted and click, you'll see it draws this yellow line around everything. Your next tool, you're going to use Offset. Offset does what the picture looks like. It takes a line you've already drawn and will allow you to repeat that line an offset distance away from it. So pick Offset, click on your yellow outline and just move. You see as you move your mouse, you could go outside or you can come inside. Now we wanted a distance of 6. So just make sure it's inside the shape, hit 6 on your keyboard, hit enter, and that's a nice easy way of drawing that outline without having to do dimensions or anything else. We're just using what's already there to make our lives easier. Okay, we want to extrude that now, so finish sketch, extrude. It's saying which, it wants you to choose the profile. It doesn't know whether you want to extrude that or that, so you have to tell it it's the middle bit, and obviously we want to cut material. Make sure it goes transparent, click OK. And that's your bottom panel done. So when you're finished with it, click return. And now we're going to use our constrain tools to stick that in place. So you've got constrain. So if we think about it, this little tab here would stick into that slot. So my first constraint is I'm going to mate. I'm going to pick the inside of here, rotate my view around, and the inside of that little gap. That has made them mate against each other. Now, I can still slide it up and down and left to right. Okay, so my next constraint is, I'm going to click constrain, I'm going to stick this top of the bottom panel to the underside of that, because I know they're glued together. click apply. Grab it and check it. Right, so we've done up and down, we've done in and out, we just haven't done left to right. So my final constraint, you could either do, it's down to you, a flush between here and here, or you could do a mate between there and the inside of that. I'm going to choose to do a flush, so I'm going to select flush. Oh, by the way, I just pressed C there for constraint, it's a shortcut, or you can click it, whatever. So flush, I'm going to pick that, and I'm going to pick that, which will bring them in line. As you can see, our box is rapidly starting to take shape now. Okay, next step, we are going to make the two side panels. This can be done quite easily now. You're going to click on create, you're going to call it side panel. Excuse my sniffles, I've got a cold. Click OK. Actually, sorry, create, you should call it long side panel, really, because that's what it is, it's the longer one. Click anywhere to start drawing. Now this bit's a bit different. When you get this, when you go to start a sketch, rather than clicking your sketch on a work plane, I'd like you to click your sketch on the surface here. Okay. So I'm just going to select there, the edge of my work. So I'm actually drawing onto what I've already made. We're going to use our tool called Project Geometry now, and we're going to steal the geometry we want to trace. So we want to, if you imagine, we want to come up through this line, along there, down that corner. I don't know if you can see what it's doing, it's starting to trace it. We know this panel would fit in here, come up to there, that inside line, there, down. You can see I'm projecting the image onto the sketch, right? So I've got an outline. This kind of inner yellow outline is what my shape needs to be. All I'm going to do now is get the rectangular tool, and I'm going to draw over that. So I'm going to use the projected geometry as my guidelines. So I'm going to start in the top corner and click in the bottom corner to do one big rectangle. Start in this corner and move down to the bottom corner to do that rectangle. And then to get rid of these unnecessary lines, you'd use trim. Okay, so I'm going to trim that bit, that bit, that bit, and that bit. Now I've got a shape that fills up there without having to use dimensions or measure anything or even look at a plan, because it's based on the model I've already made. So Project Geometry is a very powerful tool. It allows you to speed things up by stealing what you've already drawn. So anyway, we've drawn our outline, click Finish Sketch, and now you're going to click Extrude. Oh, sorry, had to pause and deal with a phone call. Okay, so anyway, where did we get to? So we drew our outline, we finished the sketch, now we're going to extrude it. So click Extrude, and if you've joined everything correctly, when you hover your mouse, this bit should go pink. Now, we've got to check what we're doing here. Obviously, that's going the wrong direction for starters. We want to click direction 2 because we want it going in, and we don't want 10mm, we want 4, because that's the thickness of the wood we're using. So click OK. While we're here, we might as well go up to material and change it to whatever you're using. In this case, I'm using white oak natural, and then we can click return. Okay. Oh, actually, somehow I've picked the wrong colour material, but you get the idea. That's quite good. Now, for some bizarre reason, Inventor loves to create work planes when you use projected geometry, so you'll get this horrible yellow outline which ruins your drawing. And when you do more, you'll get loads of them all over the place, and it really confuses things. So to turn those off periodically, you'll need to go to View, over here to Object Visibility, and then tick or untick all work features, and that'll get rid of any stupid work planes. It's the only thing about this program I hate. I don't know why it insists on doing it, but anyway, right, so we've made the panel once, we need the other one to go over here, so all I'm going to do now is select that panel, copy it by right-clicking, right-click again and paste, and use Constrain, which I'm going to let you do on your own, but you can watch the video and see what I do if you're stuck. So I'm going back to Assemble, Constrain, I'm going to stick this in place, but I'm going to do it without talking. Alright, there we go. So that's both side panels done. Alright, that will conclude this video. So that's just under 10 minutes. Obviously make sure all your panels look the same colour, not like mine. Next video we're going to talk about how to make the shelves for the battery access door, how to make the battery access door, and beyond that we'll talk about doing the acrylic parts, and then how to place the battery and the USB cable and a circuit board in there so we can sort of make it look all authentic. Okay, right, well done.